IST, the official YouTube channel for Indian Society of Toxicology. Today we are discussing about clonidine toxicity. As all of you know that clonidine is one of the most common drug which is used in resistant hypertensive management. It is not used as a first line management in hypertension. It is mainly used as a second line or third line drug in hypertensive management. The two patients are having renal failure, patients having renal hypertension. In that condition, it's a very commonly used drug, clonidine. It's a biochemical derivative of imidazoline. Is used as an antihypertensive agent, second or third line drug. Recent years, it is also in use in conditions like attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, Tourette syndrome, and sleep disorders. But whatever it is, it's very commonly used in hypertensive management, that too in resistant hypertension. Most of these patients are already having severe depression. This drug itself can produce some amount of depression. So there is a high chance of clonidine induced toxicity or suicidal intake of clonidine. There are some other drugs which also has got similar activities, like it is a central alpha 2 adrenergic agonist medication. Drugs like oxymetazoline, xylometazoline, all are commonly used as nasal decongestion. They have same effect. Dexmed, it's a drug used for sedation by anesthetist or in emergency room. That also has got alpha 2 agonist action. So all these alpha 2 agonistic drugs can produce hypotension or reduction in the BP. So we'll see what is the action of this drug. Clonidine act on alpha 2 receptors, imidazoline receptors, and functional overlap of alpha 2 receptors on mu receptors. So clonidine is a alpha 2 receptor and imidazoline 1 receptor antagonist. By activating the presynaptic alpha 2 adrenergic receptors of the central nervous system, it's a centrally acting antihypertensive. It reduces or blocks the release of norepinephrine. We know that norepinephrine is a drug or a hormone which can increase the BP. So the release of norepinephrine will be blocked by this alpha 2 adrenergic receptor agonist. So it's a clonidine is a alpha 2 receptor agonist. So it can block the release of norepinephrine by central nervous system blockage. So that's the action of this drug. At therapeutic doses, it has a number of anticholinergic effects. They are called as adverse effects of this drug. Whenever these drugs are prescribed for the patient normally complain about following things, like they can have dry mouth, constipation, and sedation. Some amount of depression is seen in many patients. So whenever there is a depression, these drugs are not a good choice. But however, a patient who is having resistant hypertension, especially in renal failure, there are no other drugs to control BP like these drugs. So we are forced to give these drugs and depression can be exacerbated. Ultimately, because of depression, patients take this drug in a suicidal intention and patient go to toxicity. So normally they have dry mouth, constipation, sedation, and some amount of depression. If we see the dose which can produce toxicity, so it is described in some literature is 0.2 milligram per kg body weight. More than 0.2 milligram per kg body weight can produce cardiovascular collapse and respiratory depression. So that's a toxic dose. But it may be varying from person to person because many patients are on chronically on these drugs and they have cumulative dose in their body. Because of renal failure, it can be aggravated. On top of that, when the patient takes these drugs, even in minimal amount, they can go to toxicity. But a normal person who has never taken this one, it can be very low, even low as 0.01 to 0.02 mg per kg body weight. But routinely in clinical practice, when the patient are already on these drugs, 0.2 milligram per kg is a dangerous dose. Now, clonidine toxicity present with somnolence, increased sleep, respiratory depression, hypotension, bradycardia, and meiosis. The most important thing is hypotension, bradycardia, and respiratory depression. Many patients will be deeply comatose. Alteration in the consciousness, level of consciousness, or low GCS usually presents within the first 1.5 hours of the intake of the drug, preceding any cardiovascular effects which are usually present within 4 hours. So initially patient develops loss of consciousness or diminished GCS. Later patient develops hypotension, bradycardia, and shock. Hypothermia also seen in some patients, not in all patients, which can help in differentiation from opioid toxicity, as this is not observed in opioid toxicity. So hypothermia is not commonly seen in opioid toxicity. Here that is also there. So patient can have altered behavior, low GCS, cardiovascular collapse, then patient develops shock and hypothermia. When we admit a suspected case of clonidine toxicity, who is on clonidine, suddenly patient come with hypotension, shock, hypothermia, depressed breathing, altered behavior. There are a lot of differential diagnosed patients may be on antihypertensive medicine, toxicity of antihypertensive medicine, hypoglycemia can have similar finding. Some other drug co-ingestion of other drugs like sedatives, hypnotics, all those drugs also can produce similar finding. So it will be difficult to diagnose the clonidine toxicity in a routine clinical settings. When we are suspecting, we have to send quantitative and qualitative analysis of clonidine in our body. Both blood and urine can be examined for that. Another important test should be done in all patients who come to emergency room with altered behavior is blood sugar. You can do a glucometer RBS that will immediately give a result. Another investigations are electrolytes, sodium, magnesium, calcium, all those things can produce altered behavior. Ask for history of any other drug intake at home. Look for any empty strips at home. Then we can do an ECG, because bradycardia is one of the common presentation of clonidine that can be taken. ABG can be taken because patient who develops respiratory distress slowly develops respiratory acidosis. Later, because of hypotension, they can have metabolic acidosis and lactic acidosis. So all these investigations are required like in any other case of altered behavior in emergency room. If you know that the patient is having clonidine toxicity, the management is like following. Activated charcoal 1 gram per kg, maximum dose is 50 gram. Both clonidine and other imidazolines definitely bind to the activated charcoal, so that the absorption can be delayed or restricted. Airway, breathing, circulation should be taken care in clonidine toxicity. Like any other case, come to emergency room. They can have respiratory depression, so airway and breathing problem can be there. Respiratory acidosis can be there. Maybe low GCS is associated with respiratory depression. You may have to intubate the patient. Circulation is cardiac depression and hypotension, cardiac shock, all these things can be there. Mostly when the patients are on clonidine, chronically on clonidine, a mild extra dose can produce bradycardia, but usually it responds to atropine injection. So you can give 1 or 2 doses of atropine and slowly you can see the heart rate is increasing. They may not require anything else. We have to just monitor the patient. But if the patient is having severe bradycardia and hypotension, we have to treat the patient according to standard protocol. Hypotension alone can be managed with IV fluids, normal saline, or any other crystalloids like Ringer lactate can be given. It improves the BP. But if hypotension is there, severe bradycardia is there, then you have to add some other drug which can increase the heart rate. Atropine is short acting drug, you know that. So atropine will not produce long lasting effect. So you'll have to go for either dopamine or norepinephrine. If the patient is having hypotension with bradycardia, dopamine is a good choice. If the patient is having normal heart rate but hypotension is there, then norepinephrine will be a good choice. Only if there is a bradycardia and hypertension, dopamine is a good choice. Otherwise, norepinephrine is a good choice in any shock, including clonidine induced shock. So dopamine or norepinephrine can be started according to the normal standard dose protocol. Hypothermic patients should be treated according to the standard protocol like local warming, complete body warming, warmed crystalline solution. All these things should be started according to the standard protocol in your hospital. Now next one is low GCS. This is another important problem in this type of patient, but remember that low GCS is not only due to clonidine. These patients can have additional tablet intake like some other sedatives can be taken. Whatever it is, when there is a low GCS with marked CNS depression, we have to definitely intubate the patient, but we can go for a trial of IV naloxone. The dose is 0.1 mg per kg. Maximum single dose is 2 mg. Can be repeated 1 or 2 second minute or third minute. 10 mg maximum dose can be, total dose can be given. Single dose can be, maximum is 2 mg, but maximum dose in 24 hours is 10 mg, not more than that. But there are some contraindication for naloxone if the patient is having other type of drug other than routine benzodiazepines. You should be very careful in using naloxone. But otherwise, somebody is having low GCS with CNS depression, thinking that it's only because of clonidine toxicity, we can definitely give naloxone 0.1 mg per kg body weight. Repeated doses can be given. Maximum dose in 24 hours is 10 mg. So we have discussed about a uncommon cause for hypotension in emergency room, that is clonidine induced hypotension or clonidine toxicity. It's an antihypertensive drug. There are drugs similar to clonidine which also can have similar finding, especially sedative like Dexmed. So the management is very simple. When there is bradycardia, hypotension, start on atropine and dopamine. If there is only hypotension, fluids and norepinephrine will be enough. And within 1 or 2 days, patient will recover from the clonidine effect. Till then, we have to wait. Thank you.